Hello traders, this is Mark at the OR Trader. Just wanted to do a follow-up video to my last video talking about the opening range for the first half of the year. If you missed that video, the what we're talking about is using the first 2 weeks of the year, first 2 weeks of January, to create an opening range and to calculate a pivot range and calculate our A points to judge where the market could be going for the first half of the year. If you missed that, let me just highlight some of the points here. This gray box here, okay, is the first 2 weeks of the year, which is going to mark the high, low, and close, and that creates this box, which is the opening range, and then we calculate a pivot range off of that high, low, and close, and we come up with these two purple lines here. Okay, so these are our pivot range, and we closed above that, so the pivot range should be support. And then of course we calculate our A points. We've got an A up here at 22.9965 and an A down here at 22.1685. And what we're waiting for is to see which direction the market will go in relationship to these. Now, at the last video, we were right here on this day here, and I mentioned that that we were in a bit of a sideways movement because of course, the first 2 weeks the market's trying to digest things, and then also we had like an extra week of digestion because of the inauguration and the transfer of power. And so I knew that price was going to go sideways for a while until all of that settled out. And then I mentioned in the last video that if we made an attempt up at the A up, we'd want to see if it got rejected, and then we'd want to see if there was some support at the top of the opening range or at the pivot range, and that's exactly what happened. We came up here and we couldn't quite exactly touch the number, and sometimes that happens during the regular daily opening range and the daily A point. You'll get an attempt up to the A point, and it'll almost get there and not quite get there and then get rejected, and that's what happened here. And so this rejection comes back down, but it found support at the top of the opening range and at the pivot range. So this is what I was talking about watching for. And so we get this support here, and since then we've pushed up. Now this gray box here, I just wanted to mention, this is the high and the low of the first day of February. And if you're not familiar, we use the first day of the first trading day, I should say, first trading day of the month to create an opening range for that month. And so that's what this box is, if you're wondering. So this is showing you that even in February, we created an opening range and it found support at the top here, and now we're moving on. So even in February, we're finding support here in this area. So the key here is that Thursday and Friday, we got above the A point. And what we're looking for now is acceptance. Well, in our regular trading, each day, we're using a 10-minute opening range, and our A point, when we get to our A point, we need to spend at least half the time of our opening range to confirm the A point. And in a regular daily opening range, our opening range is 10 minutes. So we need to spend at least 5 minutes at that A point in order to accept that new price level. So in the first half of the year, we're using a 2-week opening range. So half of that time is going to be 1 week. So we need to spend at least 1 week above the A point to confirm that price level and acceptance of that price level. So we've got about a half a day here and a full day here. And of course, going into Monday, we'll have to see, if Monday can stay above it, and that would add about 2.5 days. And basically, what we need is we need about 5 days, half the time of the opening range, which is 2 weeks. So that's 10 days. You got 5 trading days in the week, so 10 days. So we need 5 days above this level. If we get the 5 days above this level, the 22.9965, then that would be said that price confirmed the A up, and we would expect prices to go higher and we would expect the opening range to be support, and so the pivot range also to be support. So there's two ways that you could play this. If you are trading on a long-term scale, I don't trade this way, but I always like to look at the macro picture so that I can tell how the market is performing based on expectations. And so you're going to expect to see support. The high here, it's like 2277 is the high of that opening range. So if we were to confirm here, okay, let's say this week we spend 3 or 4 days here above this A point and confirm, but then the market gets weak and pulls back. If it pulls back to 2277, you'd want to be a buyer, okay? And of course, where does your stop go? At the bottom of the opening range, which is 2239.50. If you wanted to keep a tighter stop, you could use the bottom of the pivot range, which is 2258.25, and that's because that pivot range should be support. And so if that pivot range fails, and think about this, if price were to confirm this A up and then come back down here and get below the 2258.25, it would be back into the middle of this opening range, and chances are it could fail and go down here and take out the 39. And then of course, then you're looking at a scenario where price could continue to go down to the 2216.85, and then you would have a confirmed A up that fails, and then coming down to a C down. Okay, so just wanted to do a follow-up video, let you know how the year is going, and we have not confirmed this yet. Okay, remember, we have to spend at least 5 days above this 2300 level to confirm the A up for the first half of the year. But if we do, then I would expect that price could continue to go higher all the way through June. And then of course, when we get to the first 2 weeks of July, we're going to calculate a new opening range, new pivot range for the second half of the year. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Talk to you later.